I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3 on the agenda, we have the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
I'll move to adopt.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camphouse.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Verica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, number 4, we have discussion items, and we have Mr. Peter here to discuss Shea Stadium. So, Mr. Peter, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Shea Stadium, we are looking to go out to bid to do some remodeling work down in the stadium structure itself. We are still finalizing paperwork and what all we need done and how we want it done. Hopefully that's finishing up here soon. We look to be getting out for advertising, hopefully by the end of this month, if not early August. Planning on having a bid opening in the middle of September. Some of the things we will be doing there is updating a lot of lighting, increasing airflow, ventilation, and adding heating and air conditioning to some areas that have been lacking over the past few years. We are planning on replacing the turf and the track, but that will be done under a consortium. So basically my understanding of that is that it doesn't have to go out to bid. So the idea there is that should start right after football season to replace the turf. And then we're going to hold off and wait on the track until after track season, because there's potentially asphalt that will need to be replaced under the track. And we're told that really cannot be done when it's cold. So they're going to wait until after track season to start that part of the process. I think that's what I've got about Shea. Were you looking for an update on the high school? Okay. The gym floor, we have started replacing the gym floor. We had the old floor on the east half, which is the side closest to the middle school, torn out. And we reached out to Cincinnati Floor, who will be doing the install of the new floor. They are hoping to get out there by the end of this month. Once that side is done, we'll move all the bleachers back over to the east side so that the removal of the old floor on the west side can begin. And then after that's gone, then we can continue with installing the new floor on that west side. So it's a process that's involving 3 different vendors. It's juggling all their schedules and when they can get in and get it done. And then once that person's done, then we got to call the next vendor and get on their schedule. So it's been quite time consuming. Another issue we've had at the high school is we had our IBI inspection. Those are the inspectors that do the electrical after you do a job. They did find some violations. I think that inspection was the week before July 4th. They found violations, but for the most part, they were simple things. Just stuff needed to be cleaned up and straightened and put back together. So they said that's not a problem. They can handle that. Some of the stuff they did find, though, the inspector said did not match the plans that were submitted. When I asked why they didn't match the plans, I was told, well, but what you got was an improvement over the plans. So basically what we need to do is go back to the architect and have them stamp the fact that what we've got is better than what the plans originally said. For example, a light fixture in a hallway that stays on 24/7, we call it a night light. These were, normally they're designed to run through just a regular power panel. These were run to the power inverter. So essentially they stay on even with the power loss. So in my mind, that's an improvement. I'm glad. That's a good thing. But that wasn't the way the plans called out. So we're looking to get that plan changed, stamped by the architect, and everything should be good. We also have an issue with Air Handler 5, which serves the office, the guidance office above it, and Centerpoint Clinic. There was a piping issue that had to be rerouted because of where they were going. Wasn't really a good idea. So once we found the better route, Those holes have been drilled through the improved route, and so we're waiting to get that piping installed. This carries the chilled water or the heated water for whatever season we're in, as opposed to bringing refrigerant lines down from the roof, which is the way it's been for a number of years. So that once that is all done and the piping is done, hopefully all it is just a swap out of the new air handler for the old handler. So that's still in the works. One thing I do want to, back to Shea Stadium, one thing that concerns me that I want everyone to be aware of is, as we were looking over the plans for the remodel at Shea, I requested to the company that's doing the electric, or our architect, I needed a better design on this. For the past 10, 15 years or so, anytime we had lights changed on the far side of the field, the railroad track side, the company comes out and they really get some bad shocks from changing the lights that are so close to the high voltage wires that parallel the railroad tracks, especially the one that's closest to the scoreboard. It's reached the point where people just aren't willing to do it anymore. So I knew that was coming. So as we were talking about this remodel, I asked Musco Lighting, I said, or SHP to ask Musco Lighting, can you give us some better suggestions? The suggestion they came back with, I really wasn't too thrilled about, but basically I don't think we have another option. They want to take down the 3 poles on the other side, replace them with 2 poles, and kind of split the difference between them. But the one pole that would be closest to the scoreboard would actually be between the running track and the edge of the soccer field, because that's the only, they can't install anything new on the other side of the track because they're essentially right underneath the high voltage wires. I was told that, and I haven't verified this yet, but as they were explaining this to me, they suggested, well, you can go check out Ross Field in St. Bernard or Voice of America Park, and they basically had to do the same thing there. So I'm looking to take a trip over to either of those places and check out what's been done there and what their solution is.
So they want to put the pole inside of the track?
Correct. Inside the oval. But it would be between the track and the soccer field. The soccer field is wider than the football field.
Right.
So it shouldn't be too much of a problem for football. But for soccer, it's going to be close. If we can find another solution, I'd love to look into it. Again, we were suggested to go take a look at Ross Park or Voice of America.
I think it's a good idea
Yeah.
to go take a look at those other fields, because I'm not thrilled with that.
I'm not
No.
thrilled with it at all. But I don't know another option.
I mean, it sounds horrendous, but then you're thinking, well, if they've done it and Voice of America's done it, like maybe we're just not getting it.
What if we put? I mean, how would it look, or how would it work if we put poles on the end zones instead of directly
That
across?
was one suggestion too, and I think the answer they gave me there is you run the risk of on a kickoff or something, the ball being in the light. So I think they were against putting lights in the end zones.
We got some place they don't have lights on both sides.
I think Roger Bacon.
They've got LED.
I don't know.
They have
Lights on the one
the
side.
lights on one side. I mean, they're bright LED lights.
Maybe we could ask Chuck too what he's seen. He might pay attention to that.
I sure hope somebody can come up with something.
Lights that come down.
I suggested that.
No way!
I
I
did.
was just.
They said I was
just
crazy.
like elevator lights.
Ah.
I think they said the problem with that was somebody's still got to go up and do it. I think right now we're under a grandfathered clause. So the fact that the lights are there, we can still use them. But if you try to make any type of change like that, I think
Somebody has
we're
to
then
go up
within
there
the
and make-
easement of Duke's power lines, and I was told, no, you can't do it.
Just tell Duke to move their power. Or what?
That was my next idea.
Yeah,
Duke, get with it.
go
You
underground.
are shocking people. It's not nice.
I think that's all I have.
Any other questions for Mr. Peter about the high school or Shay?
No, I'm just concerned with the timing of the replacement of the floor for volleyball.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to look at some potential plan Bs.
Yes.
And on air handler 5 at the high school, I expect we'll see a change order on that.
Okay.
Well, we were fortunate enough during basketball season. I mean, it certainly wasn't ideal, but we were fortunate to work that out. So I hate that that might be something we're looking at again, but all right. Thank you, Mr. Peter.
Thank you.
All right, moving on in our agenda, number 5, this is personnel superintendent recommendations, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Number 5.01 are resignations, and we do have 4. And I would like to, congratulate Eric Lawson. He's becoming the principal of Lanchester. So these 4 individuals are either getting promotions or have found positions elsewhere, and they will certainly be missed, and we'd like to thank them for their many years of service. Then under 5.02 employment, number 1 is, this is the new Glenna. Her name is Emily Rohde. She's our Behavioral Health and Wellness Coordinator who will be joining us on August 14th. Number 2 are extended days. This is our counseling and our psychologist who either come in to do scheduling or testing during, before the school year starts to get us ready to go. Then number 3, extended contracts. We have several individuals are either on grants that have to be renewed each year. So that's Raylyn and Kimberly. 4, one of our physical therapists is with us. That's her contract. So she'll be providing services this year. Number 5 is a stipend, as you can see. Number 6, we'd like to congratulate Nicole Taylor, who is moving to principal secretary at the middle school. So congrats to her. Number 7 is to approve either the Norwood Police Department or the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office or other local police departments, depending on who we can get for event security for the many activities during the school year. Number 8, all that approves our employees. If anyone needs home instruction or tutoring, we don't have to keep coming back and bringing up names. And if someone says they'll do it, we are allowed to move forward with that. Number 9 is hopefully we will be in the tournaments. We'll see if there's tournaments here at Shea. That would approve the positions that's required by OHSAA. And number 10, as you can see, we are still hiring some pupil activity folks for golf, volleyball, and girls soccer. And I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Ronan. All right, number 6, this is our Education Committee, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you, Madam President. We have our crisis response plan that we submit to.
And actually, it's a very shortened version of the crisis response plan that we have to submit to Homeland Security. This is really the one, it's about 10 or 11 pages, that it's a quick look for the staff. If there was, let's say, a bomb threat or something terrible like that happened, this is what you do. So this is the one that we do run off and have it in every teacher's classroom, which is because we can't give them the huge 100-page binder that we have to submit to Homeland Security.
Sounds great. I was reading over it and like each thing, what do you do? And I was like, this is very educational to know. It looks good to me.
Okay, number 7, this is Policy Committee, and I would normally turn it over to Mrs. Chesson and Mr. Taylor, but we have no policies this month. Number 8, Building and Grounds. Ms. Ballard's not here, but we have no requests, so we can move on to Finance Committee.
I think there is one, but I don't see it listed on here. But I did hear that City Council asked to use the auditorium at Norwood View for some kind of community meeting, and I don't recall the date. I think it came in at the last minute.
Okay.
So I did want to mention that.
We'll see if that's on next week for the vote. All right, number 9, Finance Committee, and I will turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. 9.01 Financial Report, our monthly financial CFO report and change order listings for your review. 9.02 Temporary Appropriations, the budget for the upcoming year, fiscal year 24. 9.03 Certificate of Estimated Resources, the county auditor spreadsheet that acknowledges fund cash balances, sets estimated revenues, and limits estimated budgets for the upcoming year, fiscal year 24. 9.04 the Alternate School Food Authority Agreement. This agreement gives ODE notice that Milford Schools will be continuing to run our food service program for Norwood students again this upcoming year. 9.05 Exempted Manager Salary Schedule. This is an updated salary schedule for your review. 9.06 Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding. We've joined Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy for the last several years in order to help further the fight against publicly funded school vouchers. And your approval will continue this for the next school year also. There's a couple attachments on there on the agenda for your review. Finally, 9.07, then and now purchase order that needs further approval. And that is all I have for finance.
Thank you, Mrs. Camphouse. All right, moving on to item 10. This is executive session in accordance with ORC 121.22G1. The appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, or demotion of a public employee. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
I'll move to enter into executive session.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
All right, the time is 6:18. We are in executive session.